Salam, hello, and welcome to another episode of Silly Points Cricket. My name is Faizan Hamdani, and I'm here against flying solo. My co-host Afiq Mia is caught up with a few things, but recapping day 3 and day 4, and it would be very easy for me to say, I told you so. Day 3, total collapse by Pakistani batsmen. How many times have we seen this? I think I've seen this film before. Australia just did what I expected them to do, which was bowl better. And, this is sort of me saying that, look, that pitch was not that bad to bowl on. Look, I'll get to the second innings where Pakistan has recovered, but it is actually proof that you can get the ball to swing, you can move the ball a little bit in the air. The spinners of Australia did a much better job than Sajid Khan and Noman Ali. And day 3 completely belonged to Australia. Pakistan sort of just batted how as if the pitch had demons. The only one who gave any sort of resistance was Babar Azam. I think it sort of shows a fragility in Pakistan's batting a little bit. One day they can score 500 runs, but if the ball just moves a little bit and the ball just moves, hits the pitch and there's swing in the air, you can bowl these Pakistani batsmen out quite easily. And that's what happened. Now, so 148 all out Pakistan, complete disaster show. And then Australia, I thought it was a strange reason for them to bat again because they should have said, I get the feeling that they wanted to grind Pakistan down, make them bowl for another 30 overs or so, whatever it was. But it sort of takes away the fact that if they had gone for an innings victory, I think that would have demoralized Pakistan more. Plus it would have put Pakistan in the back foot because then they would have had to bat for, 2-3 days. Whereas right now they have a clear path, which is just bat it out. When you have to follow on, the path is not as clear. And I think Australia missed a trick there. And now it's self-evident because now Pakistan has responded in day 4 and they have actually clawed themselves back into the game to a point where they can now draw the game. And I have to give credit to Pakistan here a little bit because I didn't expect that. Once Pakistan collapses in the first innings, very rarely is it followed up by a show of defiance in the second innings. But a few points there. First of all, I don't care if you have scored 2 centuries back-to-back in the first test. Imam al-Haq should be told off very harshly for his incredibly stupid DRS review on the second innings. Because what happened is that he's gone for this quite boneheaded DRS review. And Azhar Ali, who's the second to go, from what I saw, would have survived the DRS review, but he was under pressure from Imam's totally stupid call and did not go for the review, and that cost us another wicket. And someone needs to have a word because you cannot be reviewing on decisions like that. Abdullah Shafiq is not going to say anything. He's the junior out of the two. So that was not a great start to the innings. Then Azhar Ali falls. Now, this is where Pakistan then recovers. Abdullah Shafiq and Babar Azam putting something like 160 runs together, 170. I think it's the highest partnership for any wicket in the second innings against Australia. That tells you how poorly we do in the second innings against Australia. And they've recovered to a point where I think a lot of people are saying they can draw. I've even heard certain people saying they can win. I'm still going to put up my money on Australia. I just think it's a tall order now for Pakistan to recover from here. They got to bat out another day on a track that's going to deteriorate a little bit more. That's going to provide more turn for the spinners. And I think, a couple of wickets fall early in the, tomorrow, day 4. And I think the first session is going to be key. If Pakistan loses maximum 1 wicket on, the first session, they'll probably save it. But They lose a couple. Babar Azam falls. Let's say Fawad Alam or Abdullah Shafiq falls. I can't see the rest of the batting. What is it? Fahim Ashraf, etc. Sort of recovering from that position. Naman Ali. Yeah. So the first session is very key, and I think Barber knows that. I think he's going to go there tomorrow. He's going to tell Abdullah Shafiq, look, we survived the first session. That will demoralize the Aussies. They're going to, they're going to be really desperate for wickets. But, that first 10 overs are going to be key in this match. I have to big it up for Abdullah Shafiq. Fantastic innings. I said in my earlier podcasts, I think it was with the West Indies, I told Tawfiq, this guy's the real deal. He's got a solid defense. Yes, he got dropped early on in the innings, but very solid, technique. Reminds me a lot of Azhar Ali, actually, the way he bats. And that's very rare to see in a Pakistani player, that solid technique, that front foot, good defensive shot. So he'll be around here for many years to come. And then Babar, that's the story, right? And the one thing I want to say about Babar Azam is, yes, he got the century, but it's the manner of which he got that century. He played, he didn't just block every ball. Azhar Ali played, I think, 60-something deliveries, 58 deliveries for his 6 or 7 runs or however much it was. Babar Azam took another approach, and that's what you've got to do. You can't just block for 2 days. You've got to play a little bit more naturally so the pressure doesn't build. And Abdullah Shafiq was batting a little bit slower, although, it was steady. He was still getting runs. I think he's on 70-something not out. But Babar Azam played his natural game. I think he would have struggled if he had tried to block everything. It's not his game. But he played naturally, played very, very well. And I think he's put himself in a position where now he can go into the next day and not worry too much about, playing scoring runs, just play out the first session. Now, I know a lot of people have said, oh, can we win this game? Look, you're looking at one of the highest chases, if not the highest run chase in history to win a game. Pakistan should not be concerning themselves with that. If the only way I can see this happening is if Pakistan survive half the day, get themselves to something like, I don't even know, 350 for 2, make a run for it then. Very unlikely. I think Australia's not going to put themselves in a position where that's going to happen. Just worry about that first session. Just worry about drawing this game, take it to Lahore, and try to win the third test match. But what are the lessons learned? The lessons are learned that Pakistan have bowled poorly in this test match. They did not hit the right. I think there was no, what's the word? There's no pataka in that bowling, right? It was very Monday. It was very one track, one pace. Australia were never in trouble, and they proved that you can do that. Now, you can argue all day long that it was more to do with Pakistan's inaptitude with the bat, but for me, Australia bowled very well. That delivery to Fawad Alam, I saw very little of that from Shaheen and Hassan Ali. The one that Mitchell Stark bowled. So, that's the first lesson, and the second lesson is, Pakistan have come here to draw this series, and that is a little bit disheartening. I think they could have won if they played with a little bit more ambition. On the flip side, I could see a little bit, Australia is still the number 1 team for a reason. You can debate that between India and Australia, but they have a deadly bowling attack. So I agree with Ramiz Raja there that we can't just bowl green tracks. That's playing into Australia's hands. Whenever you go around the world, you sort of build tracks that are more suitable to you. But Pakistan it's sort of say, if you're not going to back Shaheen and Hassan Ali, fair enough, but the spinners aren't that good to take, they were very poor. Almost non-existent. Sajid Khan has sort of reaffirmed my doubts over him. But that's the second, which was Pakistan have come here to draw the series. Let's see what happens in the third test match, regardless of what happens, the result here. But what do I think is going to happen in day 5? Honestly speaking, I think the Aussies have been here before. They know how to get the job done. Pakistan is very immature in this sense, and I think Australia will probably win it by mid-afternoon tomorrow. Halfway through the game, halfway through the day. And unfortunately, I foresee a Pakistan loss. I hope it doesn't come to that. My last prediction was true, but then I didn't expect this Pakistan fight back. But let's see. I'm looking forward to it. I think Pakistan's capable, but I think just Australia is more capable to win this test match. And that's it for me. I will be back at the end of day 5 to see what has happened. We'll do a post-game wrap-up. But until then, thank you for watching. Please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you later.